Amelia's phone trembled in her hands as she stared at the full moon rising outside her window. 3 days early. Her suppressant bottle sat empty on the counter, mocking her. She'd been taking those pills for 6 years straight. 6 years of pretending she wasn't an Omega. 6 years of avoiding this moment. And where was Dane right now? Wherever he always was during full moons, far away from her, deliberately. The fever started slow, like a match being struck. Then it spread, fast. Her skin burned, her vision blurred. Sweat beaded on her forehead as she grabbed the counter to stay upright. This wasn't uncomfortable. This was dangerous. Emergency heat could kill an Omega without an Alpha's help. She grabbed her phone and typed frantically to the contact, labeled Alpha Dane. Please come, I'm in heat. Emergency, I need you now. I'm serious, I'm dying. Amelia hit send and collapsed onto her couch, pressing her burning face against the cool leather. She'd been with Dane for 3 years. 3 years of a chosen bond that was supposed to mean protection, partnership, forever. Instead, it meant loneliness, especially during full moons. He always disappeared, always had an excuse, always made her feel like her biology was an inconvenience he shouldn't have to deal with. But this time was different. This time she was dying. Her phone buzzed. That was fast. She looked at the screen, hope flaring in her chest. Address. Amelia blinked. That was direct for Dane. No apologies, no excuses, business. Maybe he'd realized how serious this was. 327 Maple Street, Apt 4B hurry. She forced herself to stand, swaying as another wave of heat rolled through her. She should clean up, make herself presentable. Dane always complained when she looked too Omega, whatever that meant. She ran her fingers through her sweat-soaked hair and changed into a clean tank top. Her hands shook. Her reflection in the hallway mirror showed a woman with fever-bright eyes and flushed cheeks. This was humiliating, needing him, begging him, but what choice did she have? Her heart raced with nervous anticipation, and underneath it, dread. Because even now, even dying, she knew the truth. Dane wouldn't come. He never came. Then her doorbell rang. 5 minutes after her text. Amelia's breath caught. 5 minutes. He couldn't have made it from wherever he was in 5 minutes. Unless he was closer than she thought, unless he cared. She stumbled to the door, gripping the frame to stay upright. Her whole body screamed Alpha, Alpha, Alpha as she reached for the handle. She pulled the door open with a desperate, relieved smile. The smile froze on her face. The man standing in her doorway was not Dane. He was taller, broader, wearing a black suit that looked like it cost more than her yearly salary. His dark hair was styled, his jawline sharp enough to cut glass, and his eyes, God, his eyes were blazing gold. Alpha eyes, full wolf surfacing. Behind him stood 2 massive guards in identical suits, their expressions blank and professional. You're not Dane, Amelia said, her brain short-circuiting. The corner of his mouth lifted. No, he said, his voice deep and commanding. I'm Kant, and you texted me to come immediately, something about being in heat and dying. His eyes traveled over her, the sweat, the fever flush, the way she was barely standing. I must say, it's the most urgent call I've received in years. Amelia's face went nuclear. She looked down at her phone, scrolling through her contacts with shaking fingers. There it was, the catastrophic error. Right above Alpha Dane was a contact labeled Alpha King. She'd texted the king, the Alpha King of the entire kingdom, the man she'd met once at a hospital charity gala 4 months ago. Oh my God. Amelia wanted the earth to swallow her whole. I'm so sorry. This was meant for my mate. I didn't please forget this ever happened. She started to close the door. Kant's hand shot out, stopping it. His expression shifted to something unreadable. Your mate, he repeated, his voice dropping. The one who isn't here during your emergency heat. He paused, his golden eyes boring into hers. Where is he? He's busy, Amelia stammered. Full moon, it's complicated. Kant's gaze was unwavering, intense. I've been king for 10 years. I've met thousands of Omegas, but I've never forgotten you." His voice was quiet, dangerous. "That night at the hospital gala, you spilled your champagne. I caught it. You looked at me like I was going to punish you for being clumsy." Amelia's breath caught. "You remember that?" "I remember everything about you." His jaw clenched. "I remember thinking, she's terrified. I remember wanting to know why. And I remember noticing you wore a bonding mark on your neck." His eyes dropped to that mark now, Dane's claiming bite. "I remember being disappointed." One of the guards behind him cleared his throat. Kant said something sharp in another language, and both men retreated down the hallway. "Look, Your Majesty, I apologize for the confusion." "Call me Kant." He leaned against her doorframe with casual confidence that should have been illegal. "And I'm curious about something, Amelia." Her name on his lips sent a shiver through her. "What? Why are you dying alone, while your mate is somewhere else?" The question hit like a physical blow. "You don't know anything about my bond." "I know you texted him an emergency. I know he didn't come. I know I'm here instead." Kant's expression softened. "And I know what loneliness looks like. I see it in the mirror often enough." Something in his tone made her defenses crack. "Why are you here?" she whispered. "You could have ignored the text, sent guards, something." A dangerous smile played at his lips. "The moment I read your message, my wolf almost ripped out of my skin. I didn't think. I moved, grabbed my guards and ran." He straightened. "Then I saw the address and realized it was you, the Omega from the hospital, and it all made sense." "What made sense?" Kant's eyes flashed gold again. "Why I haven't been able to stop thinking about you for 4 months. Why every arranged marriage my counsel suggests feels wrong. Why my wolf rejected every Omega they paraded in front of me." He took a step closer. "You're my true mate, Amelia." The world tilted. "That's impossible. True mates are myths." "Then explain why I'm here. Why I felt your distress across the entire city. Why every instinct I have is screaming to protect you." His voice dropped. "Why your scent is making my wolf insane right now." "I have a chosen mate," she said weakly. "A chosen mate who isn't here." Kant's voice went hard. "Where is he, Amelia?" She couldn't answer, because she knew. Deep down, she'd always known. Dane was with someone else, like he was every full moon, punishing her for being what she was. Another fever spike hit. Her knees buckled. Kant caught her before she hit the ground, his arms wrapping around her waist. His scent, pine and thunder and something wild, crashed over her. Her Omega purred. She'd never purred for Dane, not once in 3 years. "You're burning up," Kant said, and his voice was gentler now. "You need help, alpha help, and your mate isn't providing it." "He doesn't like me during heats," Amelia heard herself say. "Says I'm too needy, too weak, too Omega." The sound Kant made wasn't human. It was a growl that vibrated through her entire body. "Then he's a fool." Kant's arms tightened around her. "I'm coming in. I'm going to help you through this heat, not because of obligation, because you called for help and I answered." "You're the king." "I'm your mate." His eyes blazed. "True mate, the bond that supersedes everything, even chosen bonds." "That's not." "It is." He lifted her, cradling her against his chest. "And I'm going to prove it to you, after I make sure you don't die." He stepped into her apartment, kicking the door shut behind him. "Where's your bedroom?" "Down the hall, but you can't." "I can, I am, and if your mate has a problem with it." His smile was all teeth. "He should have answered when you called." He carried her down the hallway. Her apartment was tiny, nothing like what a king was used to. But Kant didn't seem to notice. He set her on the bed, and her fever started dropping. From his presence. "How?" she breathed. "True mates." He pulled off his suit jacket. "Your body recognizes mine. Your Omega knows I'm here to protect you, so she's calming." They stared at each other. Her phone buzzed. Dane flashed on the screen. Kant's expression went dark. "Answer it." "What?" "Answer it," he repeated, his voice deadly calm. "Let's hear what your mate has to say." With shaking fingers, Amelia answered. "Dane." "Yeah," His voice was casual, bored. She could hear music, laughter, a woman's voice in the background. Dane, I texted you. Emergency heat, I need. Oh, that, he sighed. Yeah, can't make it tonight. Full moon, you know how it is. Her heart cracked. Even after 3 years, it cracked. I could die. You've got suppressants somewhere. Check the bathroom, you'll be fine. He paused. Look, I gotta go, we'll talk later. He hung up. Amelia stared at her phone. Tears burned behind her eyes. 3 years, Kant said quietly. How long has he been doing this? It's not, he doesn't mean. Yes, he does. Kant's voice was soft but absolute. He heard you say emergency. He chose to stay wherever he is, with whoever he's with, while you burn. The truth hit her like a tidal wave. Why are you being nice to me? She whispered. You don't even know me. Kant's smile was sad. I've been searching for you for 10 years. I'd almost given up. Then you sent that text. His hand moved, brushing sweat-soaked hair from her forehead. My wolf knew instantly, like finding a piece of myself I didn't know was missing. That's crazy. Probably. His hand lingered against her skin. But I'm here, you're safe, and I'm not leaving until you're through this heat. He met her eyes. After that, you choose him or me, but you'll make that choice healthy and clear, not dying and desperate. I don't even know you. Then let's fix that. Kant stood, moving to her closet. Where do you keep blankets, pillows? I'm going to help you build a nest. You're going to, what? Build you a nest. You need one for heat, and I'm going to help. The most powerful alpha in the kingdom started pulling blankets from her closet, taking orders about pillow placement like it was the most natural thing in the world. Amelia's phone buzzed again. Dane's final message. Stop being dramatic. You'll survive. You always do. She looked up at Kant, who was arranging her favorite blanket how she'd asked. She texted the wrong number. And somehow, impossibly, maybe she'd texted the right one. The nest was perfect. Amelia had never had a perfect nest before. Dane called them ridiculous Omega nonsense. But Kant had built this one with her, asking where each blanket should go, adjusting pillows until she nodded approval. Now she was buried in softness, and for the first time in 3 years, her heat didn't feel like dying. It felt safe. Kant sat on the floor beside her bed, jacket off, sleeves rolled up, close enough to help, far enough to let her breathe. Better, he asked. Yes, her voice was small. Thank you. Don't thank me. This is what mates do. Another wave of heat rolled through her, but gentler now. Manageable. Her Omega had stopped screaming and settled into something content. Because Alpha was here. The wrong Alpha. Or was he? Tell me about him, Kant said. Your chosen mate. Amelia pulled a blanket tighter. Why? Because I want to understand. What kind of man makes you believe you deserve this? She flinched. I don't. You defended him on the phone, apologized for needing help. You've been trained to think his cruelty is normal. It's not cruelty. He doesn't like neediness. You're dying. That's not neediness. That's biology. Amelia was quiet. Then, because the heat was stripping away her walls, she talked. I met Dane 4 years ago. He was charming. Said he wanted a partner, not an Omega. I believed him. She laughed bitterly. The moment he completed the bonding bite, everything changed. I was too emotional, too clingy, too Omega. When did the full moon abandonment start? Immediately. 3 years of every full moon, he disappears. Sometimes he sends pictures of himself with other she-wolves. He wants me to know I'm not enough. Kant's growl shook the room. He's conditioning you, breaking you down so you never question him. His voice was rough. That's abuse. Don't. What else do you call deliberately abandoning your Omega during heats? Making her feel worthless for basic biological needs? Kant leaned forward. Look at me. She met his blazing gold eyes. You are not too much, not a burden, not weak. His voice was fierce. You're strong for surviving 3 years of torture. Any alpha who can't see that doesn't deserve you. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Then why did he choose me? Kant's expression darkened. Excellent question. Another heat wave hit. Stronger. Amelia whimpered, her body arching. Kant was beside her instantly. What do you need? It hurts. Your body is calling for an alpha, for claiming. His eyes searched hers. Your Omega knows you're with the wrong mate. That's why your heats are so painful. That's not possible. It's rare, but it happens when a chosen bond conflicts with a true mate bond. He paused. May I scent you? It'll help, but only if you consent. Dane never asked for consent. Okay, she whispered. Kant's hand cupped her face. He leaned in, nose against her neck, opposite side from Dane's mark, and inhaled deeply. He growled. The sound vibrated through her, and her Omega purred so loud she felt it in her bones. There she is, Kant murmured. Your wolf, she recognizes me. This is wrong. Look at me, his eyes blazed. True mate bonds are ancient law, they supersede everything. Your Omega knows I'm yours, that's why she's purring. That's why your pain is easing. What are you saying? That you're mine, and I'm yours, and nothing can change that. The fever spiked. Amelia gasped, clutching his shirt. I've got you. Kant climbed onto the bed, pulling her against his chest. Breathe. She buried her face in his neck, inhaling pine and thunder and safety, and her body calmed. This was wrong. She had a mate. But it didn't feel like betrayal. It felt like home. When Dane bit you, Kant said softly, stroking her hair, did it feel like this? Like every cell was singing? Like you'd found something you didn't know you were missing? Amelia was quiet. Because no, Dane's bite had hurt. The bond felt like chains. She'd never felt safe in his arms. I thought that was normal, she whispered. True mate bonds are magical. Chosen bonds are practical. Kant's arms tightened. You deserve magical. A mate who drops everything when you call, who builds nests and asks what you need, who cherishes you. You don't even know me. Then tell me, favorite color. She laughed through tears. What? I want to know everything. Start simple. Blue, like sunset. Favorite food. Chocolate cake with too much frosting. How do you spend days off? Reading, in parks, where it's quiet. Kant smiled. See, now tell me, what do you dream about? No one had ever asked her that. I dream about being enough as I am, without hiding or apologizing for existing. Kant cupped her face, tilting it up. You are enough, more than enough, you're everything. He kissed her forehead, gentle, reverent. Amelia's heart cracked open. Why waste time on a broken Omega? You're not broken, you're surviving. His eyes blazed. I've searched for you for 10 years. Now that I've found you, I'm not letting go, unless you tell me to. What if I do? Then I'll walk away, but you won't, he smiled. Because you're purring right now, and you never purred for him, did you? She hadn't. Her phone buzzed. Dane, stop texting me, I'm busy. We'll talk when I get back. She hadn't even texted him again. He was preemptively shutting her down. Kant's expression went lethal. 3 years of him training you to expect nothing, to be grateful for scraps. He's not that bad. Amelia, he left you to die tonight. He chose to stay away, knowing you were suffering. The truth hit like a punch. Why would he do that? Kant's eyes met hers. I don't know, but I'm going to find out. The heat surged again. This time, Amelia didn't fight it. She let Kant hold her through it, let him whisper soothing words, let him prove that not all alphas were cruel. And deep in her chest, her Omega whispered what she'd been afraid to hear. This is our mate, our true mate, finally. Morning light streamed through Amelia's window. Her fever had broken overnight, leaving her exhausted but clear-headed for the first time in days. Kant was in her kitchen. The Alpha King, in her tiny kitchen, making breakfast. You're awake, he said, turning with a plate of eggs and toast. How do you feel? Like I got hit by a truck. She sat up slowly, wrapped in his shirt because her clothes were sweat-soaked. You stayed all night. Of course I stayed. He set the plate on her nightstand. Your heat isn't over, resting between waves. You have a kingdom to run. I sent my beta to handle council. You're more important. No one had ever said that to her before. Her phone buzzed, multiple messages lighting up the screen. Kant's expression darkened. Friends of yours. She looked, her stomach dropped. SARA. Girl, why were there royal guards at your building last night? MARCUS. Is everything okay? People are talking. JENNA. Did something happen with Dane? I saw guards near your apartment. Oh no, Amelia's hands shook. People saw, they're asking questions if Dane finds out. Let him find out. You don't understand. He'll be furious. Good, Kant's eyes flashed gold. Let him come, let him see you're protected now. Protected? He's my chosen mate, the law says. Bang. The door exploded inward. Amelia screamed. Dane stood in the doorway, chest heaving, eyes wild. He reeked of alcohol and another she-wolf's perfume. His clothes were wrinkled, his hair disheveled. He'd come straight from wherever he'd been. What the fuck? Dane snarled. Is the Alpha King doing in MY mate's apartment? Kant was on his feet instantly, positioning himself between Dane and Amelia. Your mate, his voice was lethal calm. The one you abandoned during an emergency heat. She texted me. Dane's eyes locked on Amelia. This is MY Omega, my home. Get the fuck out, your majesty, or not. She accidentally texted me, and I came in 5 minutes. Kant's smile was all teeth. Where were you? Dane's jaw clenched. None of your business. It became my business when she nearly died, because you couldn't be bothered to answer. Dane, please. Amelia tried to stand, but Kant's hand stopped her. Stay behind me. Dane's eyes traveled over her. Amelia in Kant's shirt, the nest on the bed, Kant's scent covering everything. His face twisted with rage. You let him touch you. Dane's voice dropped to something dangerous. You let the king fuck you like a whore. Kant moved so fast Amelia barely saw it. One moment he was beside her. The next, his hand was around Dane's throat, slamming him against the wall. Watch your mouth. Oh, he did, Dane laughed, even choking. She spread her legs for royalty, how typical. He didn't claim me, Amelia's voice cracked. I was dying, Dane, dying. I called you and you. I was where I always am during full moons. Dane shoved Kant off, stumbling forward. With someone who isn't a weak, pathetic Omega, someone who doesn't need me to babysit her biological failures. The words hit like physical blows. You think I didn't know you were in heat? Dane's smile was cruel. I know your cycle better than you do. I left on purpose. The room went silent. What? Amelia whispered. Every full moon for 3 years, I've left you alone to suffer. Dane's eyes were cold. Because that's what you deserve for being what you are. Amelia's world shattered. You did it on purpose. All those times I thought you forgot, or work was urgent, or... I wanted you to suffer. Dane stepped closer. To understand your place, Omegas are burdens, weaknesses, and I was teaching you that you're nothing but a biological inconvenience I'm stuck with. Kant's roar shook the building. He launched himself at Dane. They crashed into the wall, plaster cracking, fists flying, blood spattering. Stop, Amelia screamed. Please stop. The door burst open. Royal guards flooded in, pulling the alphas apart. Dane was bloodied but laughing. She's my chosen mate, legally mine. You can't have her, your majesty. She's my true mate. Kant's eyes blazed pure gold. Your chosen bond means nothing. Prove it, Dane spat blood. Take it to the council, but until then, she's coming home with me. No, Amelia started. The law is clear, Dane continued. Chosen bonds stand until dissolved by council ruling. She belongs to me. Kant's growl was inhuman. She stays here, under royal protection. You'd start a civil war over one Omega. Dane's smile widened. She's not worth it. She's worth everything. The guards held both alphas back. The apartment was destroyed, blood on the walls, furniture broken. And Amelia stood in the center of it all, realizing the truth. 3 years, 3 years of deliberate torture. Dane had known what he was doing. "Captain," Kant's voice was command itself. "Remove him now." The guards dragged Dane toward the door. He fought them, eyes locked on Amelia. "You betrayed our bond," he snarled. "You let him touch you, scent you. I'll make you regret that, Amelia. I'll make you wish you died in heat." Then he was gone. Silence crashed down. Amelia's knees gave out. She collapsed. Kant caught her, pulling her against his chest. "He did it on purpose," she whispered. "All those years, every full moon, he wanted me to suffer." "I know, I'm so sorry." Kant's arms tightened. "But you're safe now. I won't let him near you again." "He's right, though." Tears streamed down her face. "The law says I'm his, the chosen bond." "Damn the law." Kant tilted her face up. "You're my mate, true mate. We'll prove it to the council. Break the chosen bond legally. And until then, you come with me to the palace, where I can protect you." "I can't leave." "You can't stay here. He knows where you live. He'll come back." Kant's eyes were fierce. "Please, Amelia, trust me. Let me keep you safe." She looked around her destroyed apartment, at the blood on the walls, at the door hanging off its hinges. Dane would come back, and next time, Kant might not be here. "Okay," she whispered. "I'll come with you." Kant's relief was visible. "Pack what you need. We leave now." While she gathered clothes with shaking hands, Kant made calls, arranging transport, security, legal counsel. "Your Majesty," one of the guards appeared. "The male Dane, he's outside the building, waiting." Kant's expression went dark. "Then we leave through the back, and someone gets me everything on Dane's background. Work history, family connections, every detail. I want to know who I'm dealing with." "Yes, sir." 20 minutes later, Amelia sat in a royal vehicle, watching her apartment building disappear behind her. Kant held her hand the entire ride. "What happens now?" she asked. "Now we prepare for war," his jaw clenched, "because your chosen mate declared it." The palace loomed ahead, massive, intimidating, beautiful. Her new prison or her salvation? Amelia didn't know anymore. But as Kant's thumb traced circles on her palm, his scent wrapping around her like armor, one thing became clear. For the first time in 3 years, she wasn't facing the storm alone. And that made all the difference. The palace was enormous. Amelia had seen it from a distance 100 times, but walking through its marble halls was different. Everything gleamed. Guards stood at every corner. Servants bowed as Kant passed. And everyone stared at her. The Omega in the king's shirt, holding his hand, reeking of his scent. "Ignore them," Kant murmured, leading her down another corridor. "They'll adjust." "To what, me being here?" "To you being mine." He stopped at a set of double doors, pushed them open. The room beyond was massive. A suite, not a bedroom. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking gardens. Furniture that probably cost more than her yearly salary. A bathroom bigger than her entire apartment. "This is the Queen's wing," Kant said. "It's been empty for years, now it's yours." "I can't stay here." "You can, you will." He turned to face her. "Amelia, we need to make the true mate bond official. That means going before the council." Her stomach dropped. "When?" "Tomorrow. I've called an emergency session." "Tomorrow? That's too fast." "Dane will file a claim, probably today. He'll argue you're his chosen mate and I'm overstepping." Kant's jaw clenched. "We need to prove the true bond exists before he can legally force you back." The thought of going back to Dane made her sick. "How do we prove it?" Kant was quiet for a moment. "There's only one way the council accepts as absolute proof." "What?" "The claiming bite. If I bite you and the true mate mark appears, the bond is verified. Chosen bonds dissolve automatically." Amelia's hand went to her neck, to Dane's mark. "But if you're wrong, if I'm not your true mate?" "Then I'll be charged with forced claiming. The punishment is execution." Her blood went cold. "No, I won't let you risk your life." "I'm not wrong." His voice was absolute. "I know what you are to me. My wolf knows. Every instinct I have knows." "But what if it's attraction, or heat bond? What if? Amelia, he cupped her face. I've lived 32 years, met thousands of Omegas, rejected every arranged marriage because none of them felt right. His eyes blazed. Then you sent that text and my entire world shifted. That's not coincidence, that's fate. You're gambling your life on fate. I'm gambling my life on you, on us. His thumb brushed her cheek, and I've never been more certain of anything. Before she could respond, someone knocked. A woman entered, older, elegant, carrying a tablet. Her expression was carefully neutral as she took in Amelia. Your Majesty, the council demands an audience. Tell them tomorrow. They're insisting on today, within the hour. The woman's eyes flicked to Amelia. Word has spread about the Omega. They want explanations. Kant's growl was low. Fine, prepare the chamber, and get me legal counsel, now. The woman bowed and left. I have to go, Kant said. But you're safe here. Guards outside your door. No one gets in without my permission. What do I do? Rest, recover. Your heat will return tonight. He pressed a kiss to her forehead. I'll be back before then, I promise. Then he was gone. Amelia stood alone in the massive suite, feeling impossibly small. She was in the palace. The king claimed she was his true mate, and tomorrow he'd risk execution to prove it. This was insane. Her phone buzzed. Dane. Her hands shook as she opened the message. You think you can hide in his palace. You're mine, Amelia. Chosen bond law says so. I'm filing a formal claim with the council today. You'll be home by tomorrow night where you belong. Another message followed immediately. And when you are, you'll pay for this betrayal. Every second of it. She dropped the phone like it burned. A knock at the door made her jump. Miss Amelia, a young woman entered, carrying clothes. His Majesty sent these. He thought you might want something appropriate for the palace. The clothes were beautiful, soft fabrics, perfect colors, her style. He'd remembered, from one conversation about favorite colors. Thank you, Amelia whispered. The servant hesitated. May I speak freely? Of course. I've worked here 10 years. I've seen His Majesty with many Omegas, political arrangements, council suggestions. He rejected all of them. The woman smiled. But the way he looks at you, I've never seen that before. Whatever this is, it's real. After she left, Amelia showered, changed into the new clothes, tried to process everything. Tomorrow, Kant would bite her. Either prove they were true mates or die trying. And Dane was coming for her. Hours passed, the sun set. Amelia felt the heat building again, slower this time, but inevitable. The door opened. Kant entered, looking exhausted. His jacket was gone, his shirt sleeves rolled up, his expression grim. The council meeting, she asked. Disaster. He poured himself a drink from the bar. Dane filed his claim, brought lawyers, half the council sides with him. What? Chosen bond law is ancient. Powerful families built on it. If I break that precedent, it threatens their control. He drained the glass. They're arguing I'm abusing my position, that I'm stealing another alpha's mate. Maybe you should let me go back. Never. The word was absolute. I'll burn this kingdom down before I let him touch you again. Can't. Tomorrow's hearing will determine everything. If the true mate mark appears, we win. Dane loses all claim. The chosen bond dissolves. He met her eyes. If it doesn't appear, I die, and you go back to him. Then don't do it. Find another way. There is no other way, he crossed to her. But I need your consent for the bite, for the bond. I won't do this unless you choose it freely. Amelia's mind raced. If she said no, he'd find another way, risk himself differently, but Dane would keep coming. If she said yes, Kant might die, but if he was right, they'd both be free. What if the mark doesn't appear? She whispered. Then I was wrong, and I'll die knowing I met my mate, even if fate disagreed. His smile was sad. But I'd rather die fighting for you than live watching you suffer with him. Her heart cracked. You barely know me. I know enough. I know you're strong, kind, brave. I know you survived 3 years of torture and still have softness left. His hand cupped her face. I know when I'm with you, I feel complete for the first time in my life. That's enough. The heat pulsed under her skin, stronger now. My heat is coming back. I know, I can smell it. His eyes flashed gold. Do you want me to stay? She should say no, should keep distance, should protect herself. Yes, she whispered. Stay. Kant pulled her close. His scent wrapped around her, soothing the fever. Tomorrow, he said softly, we face the council, together, and we show them what a true mate bond looks like. What if they don't believe it? Then we make them believe. His arms tightened. But Amelia, I need to know, are you ready for this, for what comes after? After? If we succeed, you become queen. That means politics, scrutiny, danger. People who will hate you for breaking chosen bond precedent. His eyes searched hers. It means standing beside me through everything. Is that what you want? Amelia thought about Dane, about 3 years of being made to feel worthless. Then she thought about Kant, about feeling safe, valued, cherished. I want to choose myself, she said. For the first time in 3 years, I want to choose what I need, not what I'm told to accept. And what do you need? You, the word came out steady. Sure, I need you. Kant's kiss was gentle, reverent, full of promise. Then you'll have me, tomorrow, forever, in whatever way fate allows. That night, Amelia slept in his arms, heat simmering but controlled. And in the morning, she'd stand before the council. Let Kant bite her. And pray the true mate mark appeared. Because if it didn't, she'd lose the only alpha who'd ever made her feel like she mattered. And he'd lose his life. Amelia stood beside Kant, surrounded by 50 alphas and betas in formal robes. Every eye in the room was on her, judging, measuring, most looked hostile. At the far end, Dane sat with 3 lawyers. He looked pristine now, cleaned up, playing the role of wounded mate. When he caught her eye, he smiled. It made her skin crawl. Order, the head counselor banged his gavel. We're here to address the matter of Amelia Tors, Omega, chosen mate to Alpha Dane Blackwood, currently residing in the palace under His Majesty's protection. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Alpha Blackwood has filed a formal claim. He argues the chosen bond is sacred and must be honored, that His Majesty is overstepping his authority by harboring another Alpha's mate. Dane stood. Your honors, I love my mate. This situation is a misunderstanding. She was ill during her heat, confused. The king took advantage of her vulnerable state. Liar, he was such a good liar. His Majesty claims a true mate bond exists, the counselor continued. A bond that, if verified, would supersede the chosen bond and dissolve it automatically. More murmurs, louder now. However, true mate bonds are rare, 1 in 10,000. The last verified case was 300 years ago. The burden of proof is extraordinary. I understand, Kant said, his voice carried through the chamber, and I'm prepared to provide that proof. The traditional method. Yes, the claiming bite, before witnesses. If the true mate mark appears, the bond is verified. If not, he paused, I accept the consequences. Which are execution for forced claiming, the counselor said. You understand this? I do. Dane's lawyer stood. Your honors, this is unnecessary. The Omega is already claimed, already bonded. His Majesty's obsession doesn't override existing law. It does if a true bond exists, Kant shot back. Then prove it. Dane's smile was cruel. Bite her. Let's see if your fairy tale is real or if you're a king who wants something that isn't his. The counselor looked at Amelia. Miss Tors, do you consent to this? Every eye turned to her. Her hands shook. If she said no, Kant would respect it, but Dane would win. She'd go back to him, to the cruelty, the abandonment, the suffering. If she said yes, Kant might die. But if he was right... I consent, she said, her voice was steady. I want the truth, whatever it is. The counselor nodded. Then we proceed. His Majesty will administer the claiming bite. If the true mate mark manifests within 60 seconds, the bond is verified. If not, he will be arrested immediately. Guards moved closer to Kant. Ready. Amelia's heart pounded so hard she thought it might explode. Kant turned to her, took her hands. "Are you sure?" he whispered, only she could hear. "Yes. If I'm wrong." "You're not." She didn't know where the certainty came from, but it was there. "I feel it, my Omega knows." His eyes blazed gold. "Then trust me, this will hurt for a moment, then everything changes." He guided her to kneel, traditional position for claiming bites. The room went silent. Kant knelt behind her. His hand swept her hair aside, exposing the right side of her neck, opposite from Dane's mark on her left. His breath was warm against her skin. "I love you," he whispered, so quiet only she heard. "Whatever happens next, know that." Then he bit. Pain exploded through her neck, sharp, burning. Her Omega screamed, but not in fear. In recognition. In completion. In yes. Energy surged through her body, hot, electric, like every cell was waking up for the first time. Dane's mark on her left neck began to burn. Then it started to fade. Amelia gasped as the chosen bond shattered. She felt it break like chains falling away. The connection to Dane that had always felt heavy and wrong dissolved. And in its place, something blazing and golden and right flooded in. The true mate bond. Kant pulled back, blood on his lips, his eyes pure gold. On Amelia's neck, where he'd bitten, light began to glow. The entire chamber held its breath. The light spread, intricate patterns appearing on her skin, not a simple claiming mark like Dane's had been. This was art, flowing lines and symbols that seemed to pulse with their own heartbeat. The true mate mark. It blazed gold for 3 seconds, then settled into a beautiful silver scar, unmistakable, undeniable. Proof. The chamber exploded. Half the council shouted in shock, the other half in anger. Dane lunged forward, held back by his lawyers. No, that's not possible." His face twisted with rage. "She's mine, I claimed her first." "The true bond has manifested." The head counselor's voice cut through the chaos. "By ancient law, it supersedes all chosen bonds. The bond between Amelia Torres and Dane Blackwood is hereby dissolved." "You can't do this." Dane fought against the hands holding him. "I chose her, I bonded her, she's MY Omega." "She was never yours." Kant stood, pulling Amelia up with him. "She was always mine. Fate took its time bringing us together." The counselor banged his gavel. "Order! The true mate bond is verified. His Majesty and Miss Torres are recognized as bonded mates. All legal claims by Alpha Blackwood are void." Dane's howl of rage shook the chamber. "I'll kill you, both of you. You can't steal what's mine." Guards surrounded him, restrained him. But his eyes locked on Amelia, pure hatred burning there. "This isn't over," he snarled. "You think a mark changes anything? You're weak, pathetic. You'll always be the Omega who needed me, and I'll make sure everyone knows it." Kant moved faster than thought. He was across the chamber, hand around Dane's throat, before anyone could stop him. "Listen carefully," Kant said, his voice deadly quiet. "You will never speak to her again, never look at her, never breathe in her direction. If I hear you've come within a mile of her, I will end you. Council law be damned." "Your Majesty," the counselor started. "He abused her for 3 years, deliberately abandoned her during heats, made her believe she was worthless." Kant's eyes blazed. "I want a full investigation into his treatment of her, into whether he violated mate bond laws, into everything." Dane went pale. "You can't." "I'm the king, I can." Kant released him with a shove. "Guards, remove him, and make sure he understands that if he comes near my mate again, rank won't protect him." They dragged Dane away. He fought, screamed, threatened. But he was powerless now. The chosen bond was broken. Amelia stood in the center of the chamber, touching the new mark on her neck. It didn't hurt. It felt warm, right, like it had always been meant to be there. Kant returned to her side, took her hand. Are you all right? I feel, she searched for words, complete, for the first time in my life, complete. He smiled, genuine and soft and full of love. That's the true bond. You'll feel me now, my emotions, my presence, always. And you'll feel mine. Yes, always. The counselor cleared his throat. There are formalities. A true mate bond requires a proper ceremony, witnesses, tradition. Tomorrow, Kant said. Today my mate needs rest. He led her out of the chamber, through halls filled with staring servants and guards, to his private quarters. Not the Queen's wing, his rooms. I thought I was staying in the other suite, Amelia said. That was temporary. You're my mate now. Officially, you stay with me. His eyes softened. Unless you want your own space, then. No, she stepped closer. I want to be with you. The smile that broke across his face was beautiful. He pulled her into his arms, held her like she was precious. 3 years, he murmured into her hair. 3 years he made you feel unwanted. It'll take me a lifetime to undo that damage, but I'll try, every day. You already have, she looked up at him. The moment you showed up at my door, the moment you built me a nest, the moment you chose to risk everything for me, you've already shown me what real love looks like. Kant kissed her, deep, full of promise. When he pulled back, his eyes were serious. Dane will retaliate. That threat in the chamber wasn't empty. He'll try something. I know. I'm doubling your security. You don't go anywhere without guards. Can't. Please, his hand cupped her face. I just found you, I can't lose you. The bond between them pulsed. She felt his fear, his desperation, his love. Okay, she whispered. Whatever you think is best. That night they lay in his bed, their bed now. The true mate mark glowed softly in the darkness. What happens tomorrow? Amelia asked. Tomorrow we make it official. Bonding ceremony, then your queen. He pulled her closer. My queen, my mate, my everything. I'm scared. Of what? Of not being enough, of failing, of... You could never fail. His voice was absolute. You survived Dane. You survived 3 years of abuse. You're the strongest person I know. She wanted to believe him. The bond hummed between them. Warm, golden, right. For the first time in 3 years, Amelia felt safe. Truly safe. And as she drifted off to sleep in Kant's arms, she thought about the mistaken text that had changed everything. She'd meant to call for help from a mate who would never come. Instead, she'd called the one person in the world who would drop everything to save her. Her true mate. Her king. Her home. The bonding ceremony was scheduled for sunset. Amelia woke wrapped in Kant's arms, the true mate mark on her neck still warm. Through the bond, she felt his contentment, his peace, his love. It was overwhelming in the best way. Good morning, my queen, he murmured against her hair. I'm not queen yet. You've been my queen since the moment I saw you, he kissed her forehead. Tonight just makes it official. A knock interrupted them. Your Majesty, there's been an incident. Kant was out of bed instantly. What kind of incident? The guard's voice was tense. Alpha Blackwood. He's holding a press conference outside the palace gates, broadcasting live. Amelia's stomach dropped. Kant pulled on clothes quickly. Show me. They rushed to his office. Multiple screens showed Dane standing before cameras, microphones everywhere. He looked devastated, broken, playing his role perfectly. My mate was stolen from me, Dane said, his voice cracking. I loved her, cared for her, and the king used his power to take her away. He claims a true mate bond, but how convenient that the most powerful alpha in the kingdom discovers his true mate is someone else's chosen partner. That bastard, Kant growled. He's manipulating her. She's confused, traumatized from heat sickness. She doesn't know what she's doing. Dane wiped fake tears. I want my mate back. I want the Omega I've loved for 3 years to come home where she belongs. The reporters ate it up. Alpha Blackwood, are you saying the king forced this bond? I'm saying she was vulnerable, sick, and he took advantage. What kind of king does that? Amelia felt sick watching it. He's lying. Everyone will believe him. No, Kant's jaw was set. They won't, because we're going to tell the truth. What? Get dressed, something appropriate for cameras. His eyes blazed. We're holding our own press conference, and we're showing everyone what kind of mate Dane really was. 20 minutes later, Amelia stood beside Kant on the palace steps. Hundreds of reporters, cameras everywhere, the entire kingdom watching. Kant's hand held hers, steady, strong. I'll address the accusations made this morning, Kant began. His voice carried authority, command. Alpha Blackwood claims I stole his mate. The truth is different. He nodded to his assistant. A screen appeared behind them. These are medical records from Amelia's doctor, documenting 3 years of emergency heat treatments, suppressant prescriptions, notes indicating repeated abandonment during biological crises. The screen showed dates, records, evidence. Every full moon for 3 years, Alpha Blackwood deliberately left his Omega alone during her heats. This isn't neglect. This is systematic abuse. Gasps from the reporters. Furthermore, we have testimony from neighbors, friends, hospital staff, all documenting Alpha Blackwood's treatment of his chosen mate. More evidence appeared, statements, photos, a pattern of cruelty laid bare for everyone to see. He didn't love her. He tortured her, made her believe she was worthless for being Omega. And when I discovered the true mate bond, he was furious not because he lost someone he loved, but because he lost someone he controlled. Dane's face appeared on another screen, his press conference still broadcasting. His expression had gone from grief to rage. You have no right, Dane started. I have every right, Kant's voice cut through. As king, as her true mate, and as someone who won't stand by while an Omega is abused. Amelia squeezed his hand. Through the bond, she felt his protective fury, his determination to defend her. A reporter called out, Miss Torres, is this true? Did Alpha Blackwood abuse you? All eyes turned to her. Amelia's hands shook, but Kant's presence steadied her. Yes, she said. Her voice was quiet but clear. For 3 years, he made me feel like my biology was a burden. He left me alone during every heat, told me I was weak, pathetic, too Omega. She met the cameras. I believed him. I thought that's what mates did, until I met someone who showed me differently. The king. Yes, he answered my call for help in 5 minutes, built me a nest. Cared for me through my heat without demanding anything in return. Showed me what real partnership looks like. She looked at Kant. That's when I realized what I'd been living wasn't love, it was control. But the chosen bond, another reporter started. The chosen bond was broken the moment the true mate mark appeared. Kant held up their joined hands. True bonds are ancient law, sacred. They supersede everything because they're not chosen by us. They're chosen by fate. Alpha Blackwood claims you manipulated her, used your power. If I'd used my power, I would have taken her. Instead, I asked for her consent, let her choose freely, risked my life before the council to prove the bond was real. Kant's eyes blazed. That's not manipulation, that's respect. Dane's voice cut in from his screen. She's MY Omega. I claimed her first. You abused her first, Kant shot back. There's a difference. This is illegal. The council can't dissolve chosen bonds because the king wants someone. The council verified the true mate bond. 50 witnesses saw the mark appear. You lost, Blackwood. Accept it. Dane's face twisted with rage. I'll never accept it. She's mine. She'll always be mine, and I'll prove it. The threat hung in the air. Security moved closer to Amelia. Is that a threat, Alpha Blackwood? A reporter asked. Dane seemed to realize what he'd said. His expression smoothed. No, of course not. I'm saying the truth will come out. That Amelia will realize her mistake and come back to me where she belongs. She belongs with her true mate, Kant said. And that's me. This press conference is over. He led Amelia back inside. The moment the doors closed, she collapsed against him. I can't believe I did that. Spoke in front of everyone. You were perfect. He held her tight. Brave and strong and perfect. Dane's going to retaliate. You heard him. I know. Security is already tripled. He won't get near you. But through the bond, Amelia felt Kant's worry. Dane wasn't done, not even close. The bonding ceremony was beautiful. Traditional Omega white dress, Kant in formal robes, the entire council present as witnesses, plus nobles, dignitaries, citizens. Amelia walked down the aisle alone, no one to give her away. She'd been alone for so long. But Kant waited at the altar, eyes only for her. When she reached him, he took her hands. I can't steal, take you, Amelia Tors, as my true mate. My queen, my partner in all things. I vow to protect you, cherish you, and honor you for all my days. I, Amelia Tors, take you, can't steal, as my true mate. My king, my partner in all things. I vow to stand beside you, support you, and love you for all my days. The officiant bound their hands with silk ribbon, traditional bonding ceremony. By ancient law and true mate bond, I declare you eternally bonded. King and queen, Alpha and Omega, one soul in two bodies. Kant kissed her, deep, full of promise. The crowd erupted in applause. Amelia was queen now, officially. The celebration lasted hours, dancing, food, joy. But Amelia couldn't shake the feeling something was wrong. Through the bond, she felt Kant's unease too. He kept her close all night, guards everywhere. Finally, as the celebration wound down, they retreated to their chambers. You feel it too, Amelia said. Something's coming. Yes, Kant checked the windows, the doors. Dane's too quiet. After his press conference, he disappeared. Maybe he gave up. Men like him don't give up. They retaliate. A knock at the door, urgent. Kant answered. His beta stood there, face grim. Your Majesty, we have a situation. What kind of situation? Alpha Blackwood. He's rallied supporters. Other alphas who oppose true mate bonds breaking chosen ones. They're calling it precedent that threatens all chosen bonds. Kant's jaw clenched. How many supporters? 50 alphas, maybe more. They're demanding you reverse the bonding. Return Amelia to Blackwood. That's insane. They're threatening civil unrest if you don't comply. Some are calling for your removal as king. Amelia's blood went cold. Kant pulled her behind him, protective. They can call for whatever they want. I'm not giving her back. Your Majesty, they're organized, armed. This could turn into conflict. Then let it. Kant's eyes blazed gold. I won't negotiate with terrorists, and I won't hand over my mate to appease alphas who think they own their omegas. The beta hesitated. There's more. Blackwood is offering a reward for anyone who brings him Amelia, dead or alive. The words hung in the air like poison. He put a bounty on my mate. Kant's voice dropped to something lethal. A significant one, enough that rogues and mercenaries are taking notice. Amelia felt Kant's rage through the bond, felt his barely controlled violence. Double the guard, triple it, lock down the palace, no one in or out without my personal authorization. He turned to Amelia. You don't leave my sight, not for a second. Kant. He declared war, and he chose the one thing guaranteed to make me destroy him. Through the bond, Amelia felt it. The moment Kant stopped being a king trying to be reasonable, and became an alpha protecting his mate at any cost. Find Blackwood, Kant ordered. Bring him to me, alive. I want to look him in the eyes before I end him. Your Majesty, killing him could cause. I don't care. Kant's voice was absolute. He threatened my mate, put a price on her head. He doesn't get to walk away from that. After the beta left, Kant pulled Amelia into his arms. I'm sorry. I should have seen this coming. Should have locked him up after the council hearing. This isn't your fault. She held him tight. Dane's always been dangerous. I didn't see it. Well, I see it now, and I'm going to end it. That night, Amelia couldn't sleep. Every sound made her jump. Every shadow seemed like a threat. Kant held her through it all, but she felt his tension, his readiness for violence. At 3 a.m., alarms blared. Kant was on his feet instantly, weapon in hand. Stay here, lock the door behind me. No, I'm not letting you go alone. Amelia. We're bonded, true mates. That means partners. I'm not hiding while you fight. Through the bond, she felt his conflict. Fear for her safety versus respect for her choice. Stay behind me, always. They moved through the palace halls. Guards converged. Something was wrong. They reached the main hall and found chaos. Someone had breached security, set fires, created diversions. And in the center of it all stood Dane. He held a knife, his eyes wild, his scent reeking of madness. "Hello, wife," he said with a twisted smile. "Did you really think a ceremony would keep you from me?" Dane stood in the burning palace hall, like a demon from hell itself. Behind him, fires blazed. Guards lay unconscious. His supporters had created the perfect distraction. And now he had what he wanted, access to Amelia. "You look beautiful in white," Dane said, his voice eerily calm. "Like a bride, MY bride. Remember our bonding ceremony, Amelia, when you promised to be mine forever." "That bond is broken," Kant growled, positioning himself between them. "You have no claim to her." "I have every claim. She was mine first. I shaped her, broke her, made her into what I wanted." Dane's smile widened. "And now he thinks he can fix her. How sweet." "You're insane," Amelia whispered. "I'm determined. There's a difference." Dane twirled the knife. "See, I realized something tonight. If I can't have you, neither can he, so I'm going to kill you both, starting with you, your majesty." He lunged. Kant met him halfway. They collided with brutal force. The knife flashed. Blood sprayed. Amelia screamed. But Kant was faster, stronger, trained for combat since childhood. He disarmed Dane in 3 moves, slammed him against the wall. The knife clattered away. "You're done," Kant snarled. "Am I?" Dane laughed. Blood ran from his mouth. "Even if you kill me, my supporters will keep fighting. They'll hunt her, make her life hell. You'll spend every day terrified someone will finish what I started. Then I'll kill them too. All of them, there are hundreds, thousands of alphas who agree with me, who think omegas need to be controlled, broken, put in their place." Dane's eyes found Amelia. "She'll never be safe, never be free because of what she is." Amelia felt something crack inside her. 3 years of his voice, his cruelty, his conditioning. Making her believe she was weak, worthless, nothing. But she wasn't nothing. She was an Omega, and Omegas had power too. She stepped forward. Kant tried to stop her, but she pushed past him. "You're right," she said quietly. "I'll never be free, not from the memory of you, not from 3 years of torture." Dane's smile was triumphant. "But I'm not the weak Omega you think I am." Her voice grew stronger. "I survived you. Every full moon you left me to suffer, I survived. Every cruel word, every abandonment, every moment you made me hate myself. I survived it all." The true mate mark on her neck began to glow. "And now I'm queen, bonded to a true mate who loves me, protected by laws I'm going to change. Laws that will make it impossible for alphas like you to abuse omegas ever again." "You can't chain." "I can because I'm queen now, and the first law I'm passing, omegas can dissolve chosen bonds if abuse is proven. No council approval needed. No alpha permission required." Her eyes blazed. "You'll have destroyed yourself for nothing, because every omega you ever hurt will be free." Dane's face went pale. "You can't." "I already did. Sign the decree this morning." Kant's voice was cold. "It goes into effect immediately. You're not losing Amelia. You're losing the power to hurt anyone ever again." "No," Dane lunged for Amelia. But she was ready. Her Omega voice activated, the rare power that only manifested in true mate bonds. "Stop." The command hit Dane like a physical wall. He froze mid-attack, his body locked, his eyes wide with shock. "You have Omega voice," he whispered. "True mates unlock it." Amelia stepped closer. "Which means you were never my real mate, a mistake I had to survive until I found the right one." Kant's hand found hers. Through the bond, she felt his pride, his love, his awe. Guards rushed in, surrounded Dane. "Take him," Kant ordered. "Maximum security, and round up his supporters. Anyone who participated in tonight's attack faces treason charges." They dragged Dane away. He fought, screamed, threatened. But he was powerless now. Another criminal facing justice. After he was gone, Kant pulled Amelia into his arms. "You were incredible. I was terrified. You were brave, strong, everything a queen should be." He kissed her forehead. "And that decree you mentioned, when did you sign it?" "I didn't, I lied," she smiled. "But it sounded good, and based on your reaction, I'm guessing you'll help me make it real." "Already drafting it. By tomorrow, every abused Omega in this kingdom will have a way out." His eyes softened. "Because of you." The fires were extinguished, the palace secured, Dane's supporters arrested. By dawn, the crisis was over. But the work was beginning. 3 months later, Amelia stood in the Queen's office, reviewing petitions. 53 Omegas had used the new law to dissolve abusive chosen bonds. 53 lives changed, freed. It was the beginning. "Your Majesty," her assistant entered. "The Omega Rights Council is here for your meeting." Amelia had formed the council herself. Omegas from across the kingdom, advising on laws and policies, making sure their voices were heard. Dane would have hated it, which made it even better. The meeting went well. New proposals for Omega education programs, healthcare initiatives, protection services. Things were changing, slowly, but changing. After everyone left, Kant appeared in her doorway. "How's my queen?" "Tired, nauseous, but good." He crossed to her instantly. "Nauseous, are you sick?" "Not sick, pregnant." Kant froze. "Pregnant?" 3 months. I wanted to be sure before I told you." She took his hand, placed it on her still flat stomach. "We're having a pup." His eyes went bright, wet. "A pup, we're having a pup." "Yes, are you happy?" "Happy," he pulled her into his arms. "I'm terrified and thrilled and overwhelmed, so yes, incredibly happy." They stood together, king and queen, Alpha and Omega, true mates. Creating new life, new laws, a new future. That evening, Amelia's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Her heart jumped, memories of Dane's threats flooding back. But when she opened it, she smiled. It was from Sarah, her friend from before everything changed. "Just used your new law, left my abusive mate. Thank you for being brave enough to speak up. You saved my life." Tears filled Amelia's eyes. Kant found her crying on their balcony, overlooking the city. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong, everything's right." She showed him the message. "I saved someone. By being honest about what happened to me, I saved someone else." "You've saved hundreds, and you'll save thousands more." He wrapped his arms around her from behind, his hand covering hers on her stomach. "Our child is going to grow up in a kingdom where Omegas have rights, protection, voices, because of you." "Because of us," she corrected. "Because of a mistaken text," Kant said softly. Amelia laughed. "The best mistake I ever made." "What were you thinking that night, when you realized you'd texted the wrong person?" "I was thinking I was going to die, that I'd made a terrible error, that my cruel mate wouldn't come and a stranger would think I was insane." She turned in his arms. "I never imagined that stranger would be you, would be everything I needed." Fate has a sense of humor. Or fate knew what it was doing. Kant kissed her, gentle, full of love. "You know what today is?" he asked. "What?" 6 months since that text, since you accidentally called for help and I answered. 6 months. It felt like a lifetime and a moment all at once. "Should we celebrate?" "I already am. Every day with you is a celebration." They stood together as the sun set over the kingdom, their kingdom now. Amelia thought about that night, burning with fever, desperate, alone. Texting who she thought was a mate who would never come. Accidentally reaching a king who dropped everything to save her. Her phone was in her pocket now. She pulled it out, looked at the contacts. Alpha Dane was gone, deleted. Kant, my true mate, was at the top, with a crown emoji she'd added last week. She opened their message thread, scrolled to the very beginning. Please come, I'm in heat. Emergency, I need you now. The message that changed everything. She typed a new message now. Thank you for answering. 6 months ago, 5 minutes after I called. Thank you for proving that not all alphas are cruel, that true mates exist, that I was worth saving. His phone buzzed. He read it, smiled. Then typed back. Thank you for texting the wrong number, for being brave enough to let me help, for choosing me, for becoming my queen, my mate, my everything. I'd wait another 10 years and answer in 5 minutes again, every time, because you're worth it, always. Amelia saved the message. Someday she'd show it to their child, tell them the story of how Mommy accidentally texted Daddy, how a mistake became destiny, how the wrong number turned out to be right. What are you thinking about? Kant asked. About how I almost didn't send that text, how I almost suffered alone like I always did, how different my life would be if I hadn't made that mistake. It wasn't a mistake. His hand covered hers, over their baby. It was fate correcting itself. You really believe that? I believe you were always meant to be mine, and I was always meant to find you. The text sped up the timeline. He kissed her temple. Best wrong number in history. Amelia leaned back against him, safe, loved, free. Somewhere in a maximum security prison, Dane was rotting, his supporters scattered, his power gone. And she was here, queen, pregnant, changing laws and saving lives. All because she'd texted the wrong alpha. I love you, she whispered. I love you too, forever. Below them, the city glowed with lights. Their kingdom, their people, their future. And in Amelia's pocket, her phone stayed silent. No desperate texts, no cruel messages, no abandonment or fear. Love and partnership and the promise of tomorrow. The way it was always supposed to be. The end. Epilogue. 1 year later, Queen Amelia held her daughter in her arms. Princess Luna, born during a full moon, perfect and healthy and loved. Kant stood beside them, looking at his family with wonder. She has your eyes, he said. And your stubborn chin. They laughed. Outside, celebrations continued, the kingdom rejoicing in their new princess. And in the Queen's office, 50 more petitions waited. 50 more Omegas asking for help, for freedom, for the chance to start over. Amelia would answer every one. Because she remembered what it felt like to be trapped, alone, desperate. And she'd spend the rest of her life making sure no Omega ever felt that way again. Her phone buzzed. Kant's name, with the crown emoji. Taking Luna to meet the council. They want to officially welcome her. Are you coming? She smiled, typed back. Be there in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, the time it had taken him to answer her call that changed everything. It had become their promise to each other, their reminder. No matter what, they'd always show up, always answer, always be there. In 5 minutes or less. Because that's what true mates do. And they'd never forget the mistaken text that proved it.